Well, y'all, I decided to get on very briefly. I told everybody that the crow and the raven kept coming out in the oracles over the past month, and I kept feeling like I kept sensing death, y'all. I kept sensing it, and I mentioned in the last, I think in the 2 videos ago, I told y'all that people better behave themselves and act right because the death angel is working hard. Now that's what I said to y'all, that the death angel was going to start clearing some energy out. And don't you know, I was on my way to the salon the other day, and once again I saw blackbirds, ravens, and crows, and I kept seeing them. Okay, I kept seeing them in the middle of the road, in the parking lot, and all. And then the salonist said, the salonist said, "What about these crows and ravens we've been seeing?" I said, "Yeah, people better get their act together." So I had planned to go for a walk, y'all. I planned to go for a walk this morning in a certain area of Pennsylvania. And I drove halfway there and changed my mind. Something told me, no, don't go. I had just got a bad feeling. I was like, no, I'm not going to go. I literally turned around. And went to a different place to walk. And then I saw an angel scripture number that said, the angels of protection have come down to protect you. That was my Bible scripture number today. And it said, have some quiet and listen to your intuition. So all of a sudden, I had a memory of a family member playing. They played the movie Final Destination, and I seen the one scene where they, like, that thing that the truck wrecked into everybody. Okay, and then I saw a wreck outside near me, near my street, and I said, confirmation. I said the death angel is taking lives now. I'm taking a lot of lives right now. So then something told me to put on this movie last night, late at night, and I felt this like chilling feeling when I seen the scene of the people's bodies blowing up. It just gave me chills. And then this morning, as I said, I decided to cancel my walk in a certain area and went to a different area, and I saw that Bible scripture about being protected. Don't you know, out of nowhere, I heard this loud boom. Okay, when I say it was loud, it was very loud. And I noticed that the airplanes were flying pretty low as well the last 2 days. And then I heard a loud boom today. I thought somebody crashed into my house. That's what I thought. I said, "Oh my gosh, somebody's car done crashed into the back of my house." So I ran for cover. I ran upstairs since the sound was real loud down here, downstairs. And then I went and then after a while I went and looked outside, and I saw police, I saw paramedics, and I said, here we go. The death angel is still on a mission. And don't you know, I got a phone call, and it's telling everybody, all the residents, to stay inside. Now, I was having trouble breathing, like on and off. I felt like random chest pain over the past hour and a half, and I couldn't explain it. This was after that loud boom. So I was told to stay inside. I got a phone call that said stay inside. And then I found out there was a mass explosion. And it's real sad, y'all. A lot of people died, y'all. A lot of people died. So it's mass casualty. It's probably going to be on the news. And it's not far from my house, but it's where I was going to go for a walk at. I was going to go for a walk. I literally drove down to the parking lot across from where the mass explosion happened. Now I would have been, if I would have went when I had planned to go, I would have probably been hit by that explosion. I went this morning and turned around. I said, "No, maybe I'll go later." I said, maybe I'll go later. And something just told me to stay home. I said, I'm gonna stay home, or I'm gonna stay indoors today. So I drove back home. I was literally only out maybe 10 minutes, and I drove back home. And I felt like I had to be real careful as I drove home. Like, I just felt like a bad feeling. And don't you know, boom, a big loud boom. There was a mass explosion, and there's mass casualties. And they saying that, now I normally don't be here, okay? I just happen to be here today with the explosion. Now, last night I told y'all I turned on a movie, and when I went to go sit down after I got me something to eat, the people's bodies were blowing up in the movie. The movie was called Survive Until Dawn. That's the new movie on Netflix. And when I sat back down with my food, the people's bodies were blowing up. And then this morning, now it was crazy. It was around the time that I saw this on TV with the people's bodies blowing up. It's the time of day today that the mass explosion happened and people were blown up. So that was an omen. Last night when I walked in, when I sat down and watched the movie on that scene, with that scene, that was an omen. So y'all, this is very sad. Please just pray for Pennsylvania, because the death angel is going hard, like for real, in Pennsylvania. Going hard. I'm constantly seeing paramedics at people's houses, police officers, paddy wagons, all parked on the streets everywhere. Car accidents. I keep on driving up and seeing different car accidents, and now massive explosions and stuff. I told y'all that whenever I do oracles and y'all see that raven keep coming out, okay, I knew that the death angel was going to go hard in my state and in the city that my family live in, when I intuitively, I felt like I had to watch the series The House of Usher. I watched the series The House of Usher 3 months ago. And I said, in a couple of months, in about 3 months or so, Death Angel gonna come hard. So I could feel like the air is kind of like tight and like a little tight and stuffy, and it do look a little cloudy out there. But when my breathing got a little bad after that loud boom, I knew something happened. Now here's what's stressing me out, y'all. My nephew might have been in there. So we're trying to find out. My family trying to find out if he's one of the casualties of the explosion, because he works at that mill. Okay, he works at the mill that exploded. So, my daughter's trying to reach him at his other numbers. So I'm just praying that he wasn't there, because I don't know how my family going to be able to deal with my nephew dying in that explosion, and his father died when he was little. So we don't want to, his brothers is not going to be able to take that, like losing their dad and losing their brother, and they're all still young. So I really just hope he wasn't there. So my daughter said she's going to call me back, and she's going to see if she can reach him. But I was really shocked when she said the location, because I said that's where he works at. So I'm just hoping he was off work today. This is why I be telling y'all, I'm a true oracle. I don't see things by accident. I live an intuitive life. I move intuitively. I don't make any move unless my intuition say. And I know what intuition feels like. I know when I'm locked into it. So when I sense when I started getting chills when I was seeing the blackbirds, I knew that something bad was going to happen to my city. I just knew death was coming through. Okay, like hard. Now we got mass casualties in this city. This is so sad, y'all. This is so sad. You know, there's families, people that lost their father, because a lot of men work at that location. So now there's kids that don't have no dad. This is very sad, y'all. This is very sad. I'm not even. I was tempted to turn on the news, but I don't even want to watch the news because I'm afraid whose parents I'm gonna see. And I know a lot of people. My daughter knows a lot of kids and their parents. It's like, and then there's a lot of 20-year-olds working there that was working there. Maybe some of my daughter's friends was in that explosion. My daughter trying to find out all the names of the victims and stuff. Y'all, this is crazy. This is like rural. And I literally was across the street from it. I went to that location yesterday and today. And each time I felt like I had to turn around, I said, "Nah, I'm gonna go home and go. I'm gonna go for a power walk somewhere else." And I did the same thing today. I just got a bad feeling. I couldn't put. I kept saying, "Am I gonna get attacked by an animal or somebody crazy or something?" I keep getting a bad feeling about going on this walk. So I decided to go walk where there was people at. But then also I felt like I remember there was a point where I literally looked at the location and I stared at it and I was like, wow, I just felt like a bad feeling about it when I looked at it out of my car. And I remember saying, wow, what I'm seeing is toxic. I was like, man, that looks real toxic over there. I remember saying that. And I remember seeing all this chopped wood, not like close to that location. So I'm like, I know that wood just kept that burning. Like I know when that wood caught on fire, it was just burning. Oh, this is some crazy business. And I felt this strong when I heard the loud boom. I felt this strong lightning go through my body. Like it was like a strong pain went through my body. I guess it was all the lives that were taken in that explosion. And I felt like my life force got like struck for a minute. And I literally got the phrase brought down. That's what I heard. Brought down. And I said, who's somebody gonna get brought down or something? Why did I hear that? And then the explosion brought the mills down or whatever, and there's casualties. That's what happened. But oh my goodness. This is no lie, y'all. I was taking lie detector tests. I was getting omens for 3 days straight before this explosion happened. I bet you any money if I went down there like a couple hours before it happened and I literally tuned into it, I would have been able to sense it. I would have at least been like something bad about to happen here. But something I kept saying, I kept getting the feeling to stay away from there. And I literally was just talking to somebody 2 days ago about that location. I was on the phone talking to somebody and I said, yeah, I know somebody that was working over there. They got real sick over there. and something happened to their lungs because of the atmosphere over there. And now, and it was somebody who worked over there, and now there's an explosion over there. Y'all, there's gonna be so many lawsuits. Oh my goodness, it's gonna be lawsuits. I knew something. I knew that there was a threat when my Bible scripture said this morning, the angels of protection came down to protect you. Protecting, it said protecting your health and protecting your destiny. That's what it said. And I literally have not spoken. I literally had I swore a vow of silence. This was yesterday morning or afternoon. I swore a vow of silence. I literally told my family, I said, I'm not talking. I said, I feel bad energy. I feel something bad. And I literally didn't say nothing for hours. I still haven't spoken. Only time I spoke was to my daughter who called me about the explosion. But other than that, I haven't said nothing. Whenever I feel like I gotta stop talking, a vow of silence, I know that something's happening, something bad. Cause that's what happened to me when my dad died. When my stepdad died, I felt like I couldn't talk all day. Like I didn't want to talk to nobody, like something was off. I even said to my husband, I need to go home early. Something's wrong. And sure enough, I went home early and my stepdad had died. And he died the time that I woke up out my sleep. But he was in a hospital fighting for his life when I had a vow of silence. Y'all, this is real sad, y'all. Sure. I'm gonna head on out. I can't go out there. I can't go out there due to they don't want they're telling everybody to stay indoors. This is some crazy stuff, man. Let me see. I'm gonna put on the news. I'm scared to put on the news. So let's see. Uh, I don't even know. No, it ain't showing it. Wait a minute. Here it is.
Situation where one person has died in this explosion.
Oh.
Two people are still.
Okay, one person died.
On those two people that we are waiting to see how they're doing.
Is this the explosion here?
Dozens of people have been injured as well.
Dozens of people injured and one person has died. There's
2:20 right now.
So there's people in bad condition. So I guess they fighting for their lives or whatever.
Health officials and county executive Sarah Inamorado putting out the message: if you live within a 1 mile radius of that explosion, stay indoors today. Keep your HVAC system on recirculated air. And a big important part of that story.
Yeah, for sure.
I felt it. I live close enough where my house shook. It felt like I thought somebody crashed into my house. It was a loud boom, y'all. And my whole house shook. I said, somebody then crashed into my house. And it was the explosion.
The Breathe Project is an advocacy group that monitors.
One person killed, two unaccounted for. Okay.
The Mon Valley and the.
So there's a bunch of people that have been injured in the explosion. One person died, and there's two bodies missing. There's two people's bodies unrecovered. Wow. Oh my gosh, y'all. Whoa. Look, I'm telling you no lie. I was literally right across from that bridge. I was literally on the other side of. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all see this. I was on. Let me see if I can get it over here. I'm gonna take a picture. I was literally on the other side of the bridge, parked. That's where I was earlier, and I said I was gonna go for a walk, and I said, "Oh yeah, I see everybody likes to walk the bridge and then come down and walk the walking trail because there's a walking trail that's across from that bridge that goes into the woods that a lot of people like to go on hikes." I literally was parked there, and I said, "You know what? I get a bad feeling. I thought I was going to be attacked. I thought I was going to be attacked by something. So I said, I'm gonna leave and go to the park where the police are. That's what I said. And I went to the park for a few minutes, but then I said, I was going to walk up into the wooded part that's a little closer to the explosion area. And I had a bad feeling. I said, no, I'm going to go home. And I'm glad I did because I wouldn't have survived that. I was parked right across from it. I was parked right across from the explosion this morning. And I was literally going to do a YouTube video there today, and I kept getting a bad feeling. Oh my gosh, this is crazy.
Sheldon, what are you learning about the situation right now?
This explosion. Well, first of all, the community
Look, I'm gonna show y'all where I was. I'm gonna show y'all where I was. Okay, I was literally, and I was at that station where they're at yesterday. I was thinking of going to the station today to grab me a sandwich, but my family member made me a sandwich already. I said I'm gonna have a sandwich they made me. And then I was parked right across from it. And I canceled the walk and came home. I would have been near at that explosion if I had stayed.
Both literally.
Yep, I would have been near. It was between 8 and 12. I was planning to go there. I went this morning, and I was planning to do my videos there, and I was planning to do my journaling and my walk. And I changed my mind because I had a bad feeling and went home. But I had planned to go back. I was going to go back down there around 12 o'clock. But I heard this loud boom, and I saw police and paramedics. And I said, no, I'm not going because something didn't happen. I thought one of the planes crashed because we have planes that fly very low. I said a plane must have crashed or something, and that's why there's police, cops, and paramedics and whatever going. The cops were visiting people's houses. It was real strange. So I said, no, I'm not going back out. But then I noticed like the air was kind of tight. And I said, why is it hard for me to breathe a little bit? My chest hurt. That's because all those chemicals was in the air.
And figuratively speaking, we've been speaking for the last 3 hours about the impact of this explosion and how it physically shook some of the buildings.
You hear what he said? He said the building shook. My house shook. I was literally going to call my husband and ask him to check to see if maybe the top of the house fell in or there's a hole in the back of the house. I didn't even go check, y'all. But I said, I think a car or a plane crashed. I was going to have my husband check the structure of the house.
been here for decades serving the steel workers that come in and out of the plant. And the owner, Deanna, she told us that the explosion literally blew the doors open, literally, of her business. And then we speak to other folks who live as far away as 2 miles away who tell us that they could feel the explosion or their relatives could. And then you have the emotional impact. That's the second wave of how this explosion is impacting the community.
Yeah. Cause I live super close. Like I think I'm maybe about 2-3 miles away from it, and my whole house went boom. Y'all, I swear it felt like a plane crash. That's the only explain. Like somebody, like it was World War II, and somebody dropped a bomb on the street. That I jumped up. I was in the middle of eating and I jumped up. I said, "What the hell's going on?" And I ran, y'all. I ran upstairs because I didn't even want to be down here in case it was some sort of criminal attack, what was going on with politics. So I ran upstairs so I don't be on the main floor. And then I stayed up there for a little while. And then I snuck downstairs. I crept downstairs and I quietly crept to the door and I peeked out and I saw paramedics and police. And I saw people standing out pointing like, what happened? I guess other people felt their whole house shake and stuff. So they were like wondering if somebody dropped a bomb or something. And I said, "Ooh, child," I said, "I'm going to have to call my husband, have him find out what happened and check the house." So I pretty much stayed in one room. I've been staying in one room the whole time where the weaponry is, where the swords are, because I'm like, I don't know, because when stuff like this happen, people start robbing and all that. Okay, I live next to a really bad community. I'm not in a bad community, but I live next to one. So, I don't want people trying to break in and rob. This is a retirement community I live in. And when stuff like this happens, that makes the criminals get excited. So I guess that's why they had police on the street and stuff, parked out there, paddy wagons and paramedics.
Because so many people in Clarington have worked here, retirees, or they have relatives who are working here, people who have moved away and worked in this plant. They're all connected to this facility.
Yeah, that part over there is a very community connected place. Everybody know each other, so that's why they're shocked. They're in a state of emotional shock and grief over that. I'm not from here. So I can't imagine what they're going through. I'm not from here. But I can't imagine what the community's going through. It's really sad. People that's been born and raised over here. My daughter's dad's family born and raised over here, so I know they devastated.
Or indirectly, so there is a tremendous sense of worry with the people.
This is a tightly knit, not mostly on that side where the news guy is very tightly knit. Everybody know everybody because it's a historical part of the city. That part of the city got to be over 200 years old. There's people who retired working in that section, and their kids is now working in that section, and their kids is working in the section in that area. So it's like that whole community has been affected by that. It's really sad.
Unity about those they know.
And what else is sad is that community, that part of the city, about 3 miles from me, it was known to have a lot of military people too. So there's a lot of memorials. There's a whole big memorial section to give tribute to fallen soldiers, because there's a lot of military people that came from that city to fight in the American, the serving American military. So they have a lot of pictures and flags up of different military people who have died in service. And so that's really sad because they, some of them, who knows, if some of them were military people that was working after retired, down there in those mills, retired from the military, maybe Vietnam, or whatever, and got them a little job at the mill, whatever, and now look at this. It's very sad.
Working in there. We spoke to a gentleman by the name of Thomas.
A lot of military in this area, a lot of people that work on the land and stuff. So this is a huge impact on this community. This community has lost a lot of soldiers already. You see their pictures all on the poles. Like when you walk up and down the street, it's like military people pictures. There's like 2-3 different memorial sites, and now they got to probably do another memorial for the people in the mill explosion. This is like really sad.
Tyree, he worked in the plant, and although he's been retired for a number of years, he still feels a sense of worry based
See,
on
he
what
just
happened.
said it. He said this guy retired from the mill a couple of years, and now he feel a sense of what happened. I know he glad he got out.
And they could
He
feel
could have
this
been. He only been retired a couple of years. If he would have still been there, he probably would have been in that explosion.
explosion a good distance away on the other side of Clarion. This is our conversation we had with Thomas Webb.
Well, I mean, you feel for the people that's in there. The dangers. To me, it's always been dangerous. But things happen, and you hope everybody's okay, and the families feel. Was their family members in there? It's always a worry.
Yeah, we're
And
trying to
think that
find
crossed
out.
my
My
mind.
family's trying to reach my nephews. 2 of my nephews work at the mill. Work at that mill. So my daughter said she's going to call me to see if they was there.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't get through on their phone.
Okay, so that was Thomas Webb, and he was just one of the many people we spoke with. We also talked with a pastor who runs a youth ministry here in Clarion on the other side of town, and he told us that they bring in children in their youth ministry, and for those who don't go on to higher education, they want to go right to work right after high school, that youth ministry actually prepares some of those young folks to come to work here for U.S. Steel inside the Clarion plant. So he was feeling a tremendous sense of sadness based on what happened with this explosion.
They said the youth center prepares some of the young people to work in the mill. So there's some young people that was at that mill that minister helped prepare them to work at that mill. Now they probably trying to see the numbers with how many young people were injured or died and how many old. This is so sad.
So that is how the community is reacting.
So
Physically,
sad.
they can feel the impact of that explosion, but emotionally, there's a lot of weight on their shoulders for what they are learning throughout the afternoon, the terrible outcome of someone losing their life, and then even more with the exasperated number of injuries sustained for those who were pulled out of the plant. Back to you in the studio.
It's I guess it's a lot of people injured. He said the exaggerated injury. That's why I saw police paddy wagons. I'm like, they'll never come on my street. What is all this? What's all this? People standing outside and paramedics. I guess they were going to people's houses to give them the news. That's sad. Because I saw them knocking on people's doors. I saw them on the beginning of my street and the end of my street. And paramedics. So I don't know what that's about. I think it was for this.
People know that there is one fatality right now associated with the explosion at
What's
the
the
Clarion
name?
Coke Works owned by U.S. Steel, and 2 people still unaccounted for. That rescue operation continues at this
Y'all, I
hour.
got
We
terrible
just have
anxiety.
information.
I really hope my nephew, neither one of my nephews, but I know my nephew, the oldest one, he works there a lot. Like he's so proud to work there. I literally picked him up from there and took him home. And I keep getting anxiety every time they say casualty. Like I think they're gonna say his name, and then I get anxiety I'm just waiting for my daughter to tell me if she reached him.
From Governor Shapiro of Pennsylvania.
That's right. We just got this updated statement. We heard from Governor Shapiro earlier. Let's read to you Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's new message this afternoon. He says multiple explosions occurred today at U.S. Steel, Clairton Coke Works in Clairton, PA. Since then, my administration has been in constant contact with labor leaders.
Multiple explosions.
And local officials, and I've spoken with County Executive Sarah Innamorato to reiterate that the Commonwealth is here to provide any resources needed. He goes on to say injured employees have now been transported to local hospitals to receive care, and search and rescue efforts remain active.
This is disturbing. This is very sad. They're still searching for bodies. This is really.
The area continue to follow the instructions of local authorities.
This is really.
Lori, his wife, and I are eternally thankful for the bravery.
This makes me. This really bothers me because I literally drive past that place every day, almost. I literally sit and sometimes I look at that location. I sit in my car and I'm literally facing it almost every day, and it's just to think that. Now there's bodies they're looking for over there. They're still looking for bodies. This literally happened hours ago. And it's literally shocking me because when I felt that when my house shook like a bomb hit it nearby, the fact that was people literally dying literally shocks me. Like you see this stuff on the news, you hear of people like living near a plane crashing and people dying, but I never thought that I would actually live where a mass explosion happened and people died and my house literally shakes from the explosion. Like that literally telling me people died. Like that's like literally shocking to me. It's just disturbing.
First responders, and we continue to
this
pray
is very
for the
sad,
entire
y'all.
Clairton community.
So an important distinction to make there, we just heard from Governor Shapiro saying multiple explosions took place this morning. That's new information. We were hearing about one explosion, and now we hear that more than once a blast took place this morning at Clairton Coke Works.
Right, and when you have a situation like this, a tragedy
Don't you
like
say
this,
said this morning. I was literally there this morning. I was literally right across the street facing where the explosion at. I literally looked at all the stuff they had over there, like the metal and the wood and stuff, and I was like, wow. I was like, that's a lot of stuff they doing over there, and that's what I said. And I said, you know what? I didn't feel safe for some reason, so I decided to drive back home.
we are awaiting to hear from officials to give us
This
a
is very
detailed
sad, man.
timeline of what happened, exactly what happened, and when it happened. Just as soon as that news conference takes place, we will bring it to you live.
Yeah, I think what we expect from emergency officials in government, the Allegheny County, I think will probably be taking the lead on this, is we want to see what their response is so far to this point and what they know about what's happening right now, and to find out when we can expect to get further.
Oh my
updates
gosh,
from
y'all!
those folks.
They look like they got about 50 people at least on just one location, one part of the explosion, looking for bodies. That looked like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, about 50 people. They look like they probably got like 200 people looking for bodies. This is like so sad. I never thought I'd ever live where something like this happened. It's right when you think that it happens in other people's communities, horrific things, mass death, mass casualties. You never think that you'd be living in the exact spot where it would happen. I'm so close to this place that my house literally felt it. This is like literally so wow. I'm just really devastated. I'm really devastated for this city.
That took place this morning and continues to unfold in our community.
Oh my God! It looked like they're trying to get somebody out.
Racing and digging.
Oh my God! They're digging in the stoves real fast. They didn't found a body. This is really sad, y'all.
Debris, a hole in the wall of the place where they were.
This is so sad.
To rescue their colleagues, their coworkers.
And still a very active scene.
This is so sad. They said they got work colleagues that came to rescue their work colleagues. So people that worked there that wasn't there then came to try to find bodies. This is just so sad.
Firefighters are on the scene. Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Sam Hall, live in Scott 4, was showing us the scene of a very active firefight.
This is very devastating because this community, this city is very closely knit. These people are close. They look out for each other. Their kids look out for each other. The kids is very close. So I can't begin to think what these kids is like about their parents in this, trapped in this stuff. I know some of these kids got parents down there in this body down there in this explosion. This is devastating.
Dumping lots of water into a hole. He couldn't determine if there was a fire or something was smoldering, but they were dousing that hole with lots and lots of water.
All right, let's talk with Pittsburgh's action weather meteorologist Jeff Rizal. You're talking to us about how wind plays into what's going on here and any kind of health-related concerns, Jeff.
Yeah, the greater community impact with health related, as you've been alluding to, Shannon and Mike, is that the county health department has issued people that within a 1 mile radius of where the explosion took place to stay indoors or put
yeah, I live really close. That's why I'm staying indoors. I literally can get there by foot like that. Like, I don't even think it's no more than 2 miles away from me. I can get there by foot in 2 miles. It's about at the most 2 miles away by foot. So by car, it's literally like 1 mile, maybe.
HVAC unit on recirculate so as not to bring in some outside air. That's out of an abundance of caution at this point because explosions of this type and then some of the smoldering that takes place as they're trying to put out any fires will eject particulates into the atmosphere. There is concerns about reduced or poor air quality.
Yeah, I felt the air quality go down. Like it was like an hour or two after the big explosion sound that I heard. I felt like my chest go tight and my asthma started acting up. And I said, then I felt this intense heat come over me. It was like the air went to like 100 degrees. Like after the boom sound. It got so hot, y'all. I had to change my clothes and literally stand in front of the AC. I said, woo, I don't know what happened, but I'm burning up. I thought I was running a fever, but here it's because of the air quality.
The explosion took place. This is Clairton, and the mill or the plant is right in this particular area on this side of the Mon River. So you go out to about a mile radius. Who does that include? Well, to the north of Clairton, you get up toward Wilson, Coal Valley, and Glassport. You get to the west, and that's where you get toward Jefferson Hills. To the south, that's down toward West Elizabeth and Elizabeth. And then off to the east, just over the river, is when you get over toward Versailles as well. So it's this general area. If you draw a diamond from Glassport to Versailles, down to Elizabeth, and then over toward Jefferson Hills, everyone within the scope of that particular area is asked again to stay indoors. Or
yeah, but I'm dead smacking it. Those people are around it. He got a yellow circle. I'm going to let y'all see it. He got a yellow circle around where the explosion occurred. That's where I'm at. So, Wilson, Jefferson, and Liberty and all that, that's around it. But he's telling them to stay in the house too. So I definitely got to stay in the house because I'm dead smack in the middle of it.
Using your HVAC unit. Now, with regards to wind, as you eject maybe some of those particulates in the atmosphere.
Did he say use the AC? I'm trying to get the instructions. Use the AC.
Particulates in the atmosphere. The wind will carry them downstream a little bit. Winds are generally fairly light today. Right now, they're running between about 4 and 8 miles an hour, coming in from a southerly direction.
This air is tight, so like y'all. I feel like I got like a little bit of a pillow in front of my face.
Far away from where they were ejected in the atmosphere, but again, the overall.
It feel like there's a pillow in front of my face. Like when I try to deep breathe, it's like a little hard. The air is real stuffy.
Now are coming in from a southerly direction. So the air is somewhat stagnant outside, so the particulates aren't going to venture too far away from where they were ejected in the atmosphere. But again, the overall flow is coming in from the south. So as we go back to the map, I'll show you that a southerly wind could carry some of those particulates more likely to the north than they would be to the south. So that would put, I guess, more of a focus on places like Mendelssohn, Wilson, Coal Valley.
Yeah, I'm literally 5 minutes away from Wilson. So I'm definitely not going out.
Glassport. But again, within a mile radius of that explosion site, you're asked to stay indoors per the Allegheny County Health Department for any poor
State Street
air quality due to some of those particulates that were ejected into the atmosphere when the explosion occurred, and then shortly thereafter when they were trying to put out any flames due to the explosion.
Shout out this
Really
air
helpful
stuff.
information. I want to touch more on that about what folks in that area should be doing. We actually got a great email from Kim Titus, who says we keep saying to recirculate our air, but how do you do it? So I think the important information is to say it depends on. And it depends on your house. It depends on your apartment, where you live. So if you have air conditioning, you may have an indicator on your thermostat or on where you control your AC.
I'm listening to what they're telling us what to do, y'all.
Let the outside air in. And I'm sorry to say, but if that means maybe turning off your system,
I can't
until
turn off the
emergency has
AC.
passed and the air quality is okay, you might want to
That's
do
why
that.
the air is
Cars
stuffy in
have
here.
very
The
sophisticated
AC
things
is
to
bringing in
air,
the
recirculate the air. Some
the bomb
HVAC
air.
units you have in your home may
The
not
explosion
have
air.
that sophisticated system. If you do, check it. Don't bring in air. If you don't have AC, keep your windows shut.
Yeah, I know on my system at home, there's an option to just put the fan on.
I
And
might
that would
have to
keep
put
things
the
inside
fan
house
on,
and
like
not
she
bring
said.
in outside air. So I hope that
'Cause
answers your
I felt
question.
I felt
We're
the
actually
house
gonna try to
get
give
real
you some more
stuffy, like
clarity
it
on
was
what
hard
that
for me
means
to
for you.
breathe in here.
But again, what you want.
It was like it was within an hour after the big boom. I said, "Whoa, I'm having trouble breathing." And then I got real hot, y'all. It got real hot. So I guess that was all the steam and heat from the explosion. You know, the winds carrying it through the street. You know, through the neighborhood. And I thought I was running a fever. I said, "Woo!" And then I noticed, like, when I got in front of the AC, the heat went down. I got in front of the fan, and I said, "Wait a minute! If I'm running a fever, why would the fan work?" So then that's when I got a little suspicious. I said, "I wonder if one of the planes crashed nearby, because there's an airport not far from me, a training area where they train people to fly." So first thing I thought was, okay, one of the students then crashed the plane, because I saw the planes flying really low. I guess it was the student planes flying really low this week. And I said, "Oh, I guess one of the planes crashed maybe up the street or something."
Want to do is keep windows and doors shut if you live within a mile radius.
Oh,
Yeah,
y'all, I'm
the
gonna
health
let me
department's
go make
telling
sure my
all
windows
of
are
us,
shut.
not just, we're not telling you, they're telling you, the health experts, to try to stay safe out of an abundance of caution.
Right now, we want to go back out to the Clayton Coke Works, where Pittsburgh's Action News 4 reporter Keely Gunderson joins us once again. Keely?
Mike Shannon, we're zoomed in right now on a group of what appears to be first responders, possibly some officials who are gathered there at the corner. We've also seen
Allegheny County.
show back up.
Allegheny
This
County
is
in Pennsylvania.
area, about an hour
This
ago.
is a
So we're hoping that this could be an indicator.
County
that
of
maybe we could
emergency.
get
They
some
probably got.
updates soon.
This is
I don't
really.
know, but this is the first time that we've seen a gathering of officials like this, clearly having a conversation, kind of rallying in one place. And this is the media staging area here at State Street and Maple Avenue, right outside the plant. So we're in the right place to get those answers when we can hopefully hopefully officials take questions from us and give us the chance to do that. But I just wanted to show you that, as that was really the first movement we'd seen here in a while. Now you can see more ambulances coming out of the front of that plant. You know, I
was laying on the couch.
fluctuating a bit.
I was taking a little nap.
It's slowing
I had just got
down
done
now.
eating, and
I'm
I went to go
seeing,
take a little nap, and I heard a boom.
kind of caravanning here and there every few minutes. Seems to be people leaving the plant. can't say for sure where they're coming from, but that's just my perception as we see here another row of cars pulling out of that parking lot tucked behind Hometown Burgers and Deli. So a different scene than we had here earlier in the day, but still very much active. And Governor Shapiro confirming that in his statement, that this is still very much an active investigation, still very much a search and rescue mission to people.
I
who
literally
were
live
unaccounted for,
really
and
close
one
to this
who was
place.
killed.
Okay,
Several
y'all?
injured and taken
I know a lot of creators don't mention where they live at, but I want y'all to know,
get that chance to ask questions very soon.
know
Hey,
that
thank you
I
for
was
that. You
so
saw those
close.
three
I live
ambulances
so
leaving
close to
there.
this
They did not have their lights and
that
sirens on.
I thought it
We're
was going
gonna
to take my
ask
house
you
down.
questions about the latest with the search
My
and
house
rescue mission.
literally shook like a
One
bomb
person was
hit
killed
it.
in this. 2 people are still unaccounted for as we are waiting for official word on the
And
status
I'm
of
in
these
I'm in
2 people.
the man
So
cave room.
Kaylee also mentioned seeing U.S.
That's what this
Senator
room
John
is. It's
Fetterman
the man
in that
cave
area.
room.
He's
I
been there a
normally
couple
don't be in
times. I will
here.
say he's so far the only government official that we've heard from so far today. He lives in
That's
Braddock.
why
He's
the
the
biggest
mayor of
TV
Braddock.
is
He
in
was the
here.
lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania. He has worked hard to make sure that U.S. Steel and steel jobs in general stay in the Mon Valley. He's been a champion of the sale with Nippon Steel to move this company, these jobs forward, and this economic driver in the area. He is devastated.
Do you know how many
and his
people
voice
are
is some of that,
unemployed now?
devastation today. And he learned
It's
early on
this
that a life has
that's
been
like the
lost.
main place
listen to
people
what he has
work
to
at
say.
over here.
This reminds everybody how dangerous of a
This is very sad. A lot of people lost their jobs today. Young and old. A lot of people fighting for their lives in the hospital. Bodies still being looked for. This is very sad, man. This is. I know my daughter gonna call me and be like, "Mom, my friend's dad was there," or she gonna be calling me with, telling me like, "Oh, so and so's dad was there," and and all this other stuff. Her friends, she got friends her age that work there. This is people she went to high school working there. Fresh out of high school working here. That's like the job place. When these kids can't find jobs, they can always find a job there. And now they might be fighting for their life up in there. Man. This is a super major hit on the job market of this community that I don't know what they're going to do. No, I don't know what they're going to do. There's going to be a lot of people moving out now. There's going to be a lot of people moving out. I don't know what the mayor's going to do. But I'm so glad that my husband didn't take a job there. He didn't want to follow in his dad's footsteps. His dad retired there. His dad worked there, and so did his grandfather. They retired. And his stepdad worked there too and retired. I'm glad he decided not to go there, cause look at this. I'm glad that my husband didn't decide to follow in his dad's footsteps, because he would have been there, because my husband's a workaholic. He don't take days off. He work every day. He don't take days off during the week. He never does. He would have been there. I'm so glad he didn't he went into. So glad his brother ain't working there. His brother works at a different type of mill somewhere else. I'm so glad his brother didn't take a job there. Neither one of them. They're still doing similar, working with metal and all other type of stuff, but they're not working at that location. Oh my gosh. This is woo. That's why I saw police at people. I'm like, no, police don't come to these people retired on this street. Police don't be knocking on doors over here. And during the day, never. So I was really shocked to see police knocking on doors during the morning hours over here. I said they didn't knock on their doors and told them what happened, that their loved one was down at that plant. Why else would they be knocking on certain people's doors over here? My anxiety is so high, y'all, because my nephews work there. I'm waiting for the phone to ring to see if my daughter got through their phone, but she said she was texting them while she was talking to me. I don't think she got through, y'all. I don't think she got through their phone. Come on, man. Man, I really hope my nephew wasn't at work today. This is like no. I'm gonna call. I gotta call my I gotta call. I gotta make a call to my family and see if they heard from my nephew and let them know what happened at his job. I'm gonna get back on and give y'all an update and let y'all know if I reach my nephew. Bye, everybody.